For over 200 years, a whisper turned into a legend on a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia. This place was called Oak Island. The story spoke of a treasure buried deep within its soil, a treasure so vast it could make kings out of common men. It was a mystery protected by ingenious traps, flooded tunnels, and cryptic clues. Generations of treasure hunters had dedicated their lives, their fortunes, sometimes even their very existence, to uncovering its secrets. They dug, they drilled, they dreamed, battling the island's unforgiving nature and the puzzle left behind by unknown hands. The famous money pit, a supposed man-made shaft, swallowed their hopes whole, leaving them with mud, water, and more questions. The curse of Oak Island became as famous as the treasure itself. The History Channel has guarded the conclusion of their most popular show with unprecedented secrecy, but just hours ago this file was leaked online. This is the footage they didn't want you to see until the finale. This is the moment the treasure is found. This is the moment the treasure is found. The world is about to witness the end of the greatest treasure hunt in history. After years of dead ends, the team had pinpointed a location. Guided by historical maps and geophysical surveys, the research vessel held its position. Below, hundreds of feet of cold water guarded a secret hidden for centuries. The air on deck was thick with anticipation. The first hint came from the sonar, a ghostly, rectangular anomaly too perfect to be natural, but they needed eyes on the target. The team deployed the ROV, a sophisticated underwater drone, sending it down into the crushing blackness. Its powerful lights cut through the gloom, illuminating a world of drifting silt. Then a shape emerged from the murk. Not a rock, but a structure, with defined edges and a man-made form. A collective gasp went through the control room. After centuries in a watery grave, a piece of the Oak Island legend was about to see the light. Technology could only take them so far. To bring this prize to the surface required a human touch. Two of the most experienced divers began their final preparations. They were descending into history, carrying the hopes of every treasure hunter before them. As they slipped beneath the waves, the world of sun and air vanished, replaced by the silent, pressurized deep. Their lights pierced the darkness, and there it was. Not on a screen, but right in front of them. They were touching history itself, their gloved fingers brushing against stone that hadn't felt human contact since it was first hidden away. The object was immense, a large stone chest bound with rusted iron straps. The divers worked with methodical precision, looping heavy-duty lifting slings around it. Communication with the surface was a calm stream of checks. Every knot had to be perfect. On the ship above, the crane operator took the strain. The engine whined, and the thick cables went taut. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. The chest seemed fused to the ocean floor, defiant. Then, with a deep, groaning shudder that vibrated up the lines, it broke free. A plume of silt erupted as it began its slow, momentous journey upward. The ascent felt like an eternity. Every foot of progress was a victory, watched with breathless intensity by the crew lining the rails. Then it breached the surface. Water cascaded from its form as the late afternoon sun glinted off wet stone and ancient rusted metal. It was real. With incredible care, the crane operator swung the massive object over the deck. It landed with a heavy thud that seemed to shake the entire vessel, a sound that echoed through 200 years of searching. The team rushed forward, their composure dissolving into pure awe. They reached out, hands hesitating before touching the cold, wet surface. This was the culmination of a centuries-old quest. The answer to the Oak Island mystery was finally within their grasp. After centuries of whispers and failed expeditions, there it was, a sarcophagus of stone and lead, bound in iron, looking exactly as the cryptic ancient texts had described. It was a physical manifestation of the Oak Island mystery. This was believed to be the final vault. Pulled from the crushing depths of the Atlantic and placed on the deck, it dripped seawater and secrets. More than 2 centuries of relentless hope and devastating heartbreak, of coded maps and dead ends, had all led to this single, breathtaking moment. With the immense care befitting a priceless artifact, the crane lowered the colossal object onto the deck of the ship. A stark contrast of modern tech cradling an ancient mystery. For brothers Rick and Marty Legina, this was the culmination of a childhood obsession. They put their hands on its surface, making a storybook legend real. The entire fellowship gathers around it, Craig Tester, Dave Blankenship, and the rest of the team. Their faces are a mixture of disbelief, awe, and a lifetime of anticipation finally realized. Bound in thick iron bands, covered in seaweed and ancient chains, every detail was a clue, a piece of a puzzle that had confounded searchers for generations. They studied the intricate lead seals and strange symbols, knowing brute force was not an option. To break it open would be to destroy priceless historical context. Their approach had to be one of reverence. They would open it gently, like custodians of history, not conquerors. The story was the real prize. Using specialized tools under the glare of work lights, they searched for a clue among the carvings, meticulously tracing every line for a hidden mechanism. Close-ups revealed celestial patterns on the lid, not just decoration. The team theorized they formed a complex astrolabe, a key to unlocking the chest. After hours of intense calculation, cross-referencing the patterns with ancient nautical almanacs, they believed they had found the date, a moment of celestial alignment from centuries ago. With each correct alignment of the hidden dials came a faint, satisfying click from deep within the chest's complex mechanism. One, then another. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the tension on the deck was unbearable. The clicks had stopped. A profound silence fell. Had they finally unlocked the secret? The silence was absolute, broken only by frantic heartbeats. Finally, after the last dial was turned, a deep, resonant thunk echoed from the stone. It wasn't just a sound, it was a signal. A lock, dormant for centuries, had yielded its grip. The moment was here, the culmination of over 2 centuries of searching, of lives lost and fortunes spent. But one final obstacle remained: ancient, corroded chains. A precision plasma cutter was brought forward, its intense flame a stark contrast to the ancient darkness. It sliced through the links with controlled fury, sending a shower of brilliant sparks into the air. The chains fell away, their clatter a final, defeated sigh. With the chains gone, only fragile lead seals remained, stamped with a crest unseen for 700 years. With the gentle, almost reverent prying of a crowbar, they broke. The sound was small, a tiny crackle, yet it felt as loud as a thunderclap. The final barrier between the present and the past was gone. Rick and Marty placed their hands on the massive stone lid. They exchanged a look that spoke volumes, a lifetime of hope, belief, and enduring ridicule. With a shared grunt, they began to lift. The weight was staggering. Other team members rushed to help, muscles straining in unison. The lid was heavy not just with stone but with the weight of history itself. With a coordinated effort, they raised it. The groan of stone grinding against stone echoed across the quiet water, a sound unheard for centuries. As the gap widened, a breath of air escaped. It was ancient and musty, a complex scent of dry cedar, decaying parchment, and something else. The unmistakable smell of time itself. For a moment, no one dared to look. Then, as light flooded the interior for the first time since the Middle Ages, a collective gasp filled the chamber. Inside, resting on preserved cedar, was the stuff of legend. The ultimate treasure, the Ark of the Covenant, its acacia wood and pure gold gleaming, the very object the Knights Templar were formed to protect. Flanking it were Roman standards, the eagle-topped banners of lost legions. How did they get here? What forgotten history did they represent? Stacked along the sides were piles of books and scrolls. Were these the lost Gospels, the secret archives of the Templars? And everywhere, spilling from smaller caskets, were priceless jewels of every color and size. The final seal is broken, the lid is lifted, and the treasure of the Knights Templar is revealed to the world. The team members looked at each other, tears of joy and disbelief streaming down their faces. This was for every searcher, for every life given to the mystery. They had found more than just the Oak Island treasure. They had found the key that would unlock some of humanity's greatest mysteries, and in doing so, had rewritten the pages of history forever.
We did it. We finally did it, Marty. For everyone who believed. For Dan, for Dad, we have the Oak Island treasure.
The search is over. The curse is broken. The treasure is found. The story is complete. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.